Benke 2019 keche. Magbe nowadays 2019 we call you Hello everyone, my name is Fafa and welcome to my Creative African cooking channel Ndudu by Fafa. Fafa is my Ewe name and Ndudu means food in the Ewe language from Ghana, and I'm Ghanaian and I'm Ewe's Akpon Ndudu wade. Manyanya view. Akponolo. Gakama akpono kweulu. Nyantomo with the Claypot me mo ko actually san ko padanu infusion blona enye ya. This is where you want to be. We're talking about infusion bread. Oh no, in a clay pot baked. Oh, that's like smoky. And then the white chili leaf, that's just aromatic and it's rustic. Do you know I'm taking this? You need to watch this to the end because it's incredible. To start off this amazing recipe in making our Granary smoky aromatic bread, I'll be using two types of flour. The first one will be the strong bread flour, which is just a normal flour you can get from most supermarkets and is readily available online. To that, I'm adding some salt to taste as you do. And then I'm adding my Granary bread flour. Yet again, you can find this in most supermarkets and online. Now you notice I added the salt first, and then I'll be adding the sugar. The reason is I do not want my salt to come into direct contact with the yeast. So of course, I've mixed everything together till it's well combined, and now I'm adding my sugar. Now the sugar would help activate the yeast. Now this is like a quick shabu thing that I'm doing here, but of course I'm going through the ingredients with you at this stage. Now to this I'm adding some vitamin C, and of course apart from the obvious benefits of vitamin C, it would also help with the yeast to activate it quickly as well, and works perfectly and controls the bubbles in the bread. And it also works as a preservative, so it means that your bread can last longer. You can find the vitamin C powder in most health shops. I got mine from Holland & Barrett, so yeah, you can try that. Now for that extra flavor, I'm using my African nutmeg, but you can use your normal grated nutmeg, not a problem. But I think that African nutmeg gives it that je ne sais quoi, you know what I mean? And then I'm adding my fast action yeast. I got this from Sainsbury's and it's readily available in most supermarkets and online as well. So I'm going to add that and mix everything together yet again, as I always say, till it's well combined. And I'm going to transfer this into my mixer. Now at this point, if you don't have the mixer and you want to use your hand, then you follow this process till you have a dough in the bowl, and then you can fly your surface and use your palm in kneading your dough till it becomes nice and stretchy and just pliable. But of course, I'm just being Ndudu by Fafa here. Now, thankfully, I've got a mixer. So I'm adding some yogurt to it. Now, the reason why I do like my yogurt, especially when I'm baking, it makes my dough softer as well. And it also allows the yeast to activate quite quickly. And of course, for that extra flavor and depth of flavor, I'm using my extra virgin olive oil. In the absence of that, you can use your butter, but for that extra flavor, that's what you need. And now I'm going to be adding my lukewarm water. Now, the amount of water that I use for this dough is a little bit more than usual. Because I'm vying for that nice and soft texture, you see. So it's going to be natty, it's just going to be so. Now, when you look at the dough, you might go like, oh my God, it's too watery and stuff. No, just leave it as that, because once the gluten is activated, what's going to happen is the dough is going to be firmer, and it means that your bowl is going to end up being clean. So you keep activating, and it just does it by itself. Don't interfere with this. I think this process does take between about 22 minutes to about 28 minutes, depending on what speed you put it through. And as you can see that it's just coming off the edges quite slowly and nicely. And I'm like, yeah, my bread is like coming on nicely. Now, if this is your first time of watching, you're welcome. Thank you for taking the time out to do so. Please don't forget to click that subscribe button as well, and the notification button, which is the bell next to it. What that means is each time that I do upload a video, you are notified of it and you do not miss a thing. And I don't want to miss you. I want you to be part of the notification gang. As I mentioned earlier, allow your mixer to do its own thing. And once the gluten is activated perfectly, your bowl becomes cleaner, as you can see here. I'm drizzling this with a little bit of olive oil because it's nice and soft, just to allow me to mold this perfectly. You see, I told you this is not any other food. This is Ndudu by Fafa. I think about every step and every ingredient that I do add. I just make sure that I get the most out of it. So with the help of the olive oil, it's easier for me to scoop this beautiful dough into another bowl, just so I can mold it into my perfect shape. So as you can see here, you can see the consistency. It's nice, it's soft. It's almost like that fufu sort of texture here, isn't it? And I'm just like molding that just nicely because I'm going to leave this to rise. But of course, I'm not going to leave it in this bowl yet, no, because I want that beautiful design thing. So I've got this bread basket that I got, I think I got it from TK Maxx. So I'm going to drizzle it with some of my Granary bread flour, which would work perfectly, and then transfer my dough into it. Now do bear in mind that I transferred my dough from the mixer into another bowl for filming purposes so you can see the consistency. Now, the reason why I'm using this bread basket is that circular design is going to leave an indelible mark on the bread, and which makes it beautiful. And I'm going to leave this to rise. So, of course, I've placed it on top of that bowl so I can trap in the heat. I've covered it with my cling film and left it in a warm place. And that took about an hour for it to double up in size. And my pièce de résistance, I've got my clay pot here, and I've also got my wache leaves. In the absence of it, you can use your banana leaves. That's not a problem. I've preheated my oven to 180 degrees. And to that, I'm just sprinkling some cornmeal to it. Reason is, I want that stone-baked effect in the bottom of my bread when it bakes. And I can see this is doubling up in size just beautifully. Now you will understand why I placed this in this beautiful bread basket. I'm going to turn it over and you'd see that beautiful round marks you see. It's just so pretty. It's just so pretty, and I'm just happy with that. And yeah, so for that stone baked effect, that's why I'm using the cornmeal. But in the absence of it, you can use your, you can use polenta, you can use a semolina, or you can use your flour if that's what you have available. I'm ready to bake this beauty. Now, what I'm going to also do is place a tray, a baking tray in the bottom of my oven with a bit of water, because the steam would then create this beautiful crust on top of the bread when it bakes. I'm going to bake this for about 30 minutes and you end up with this beautiful crust. Now, also what the steam does is it also acts as a moisture. So it prevents the wache leaves from burning, and it just allows that infusion to take place. That screams infusions and flavor, and it's all rustic. Just that Ndudu way. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So after 30 minutes, you end up with this beautiful, crusty, rustic, aromatic, smoky bread. Granary bread, of course. That Ndudu. This is not any other food. This is Ndudu by Fafa today. Now I'm talking about the notification gang. Charlie, now if you need love, you need to join that notification gang, because the notification gang, I love you. You guys are wonderful. Thank you very much for giving me the platform to be able to express my creativity to you guys and keep inspiring me to push and push to the next level. You see, you can't bake bread without making your hot cocoa, as we used to call it during my childhood. I had to take it there. So I've got my whole milk that I'm warming up. Now, back in the day, you just boil your water, add your cocoa powder, and then your evaporated milk. But nipa basun and say, well, you say the whole milk contain. So I've got my whole milk here. I've added my sugar, and I've just placed it on a medium heat, and I'm going to warm this through. So I'm mixing everything together till it's well combined. As I was saying earlier, during my childhood, you just boil some water, add your cocoa powder, and then your evaporated milk, and that's your hot chocolate for you. So, of course, I'm using the Golden Tree chocolate powder, and I'll tell you what, is a cocoa powder. It's incredible. Like, when you want something chocolatey, you need to try the Ghanaian chocolate. It's incredible. It's like real chocolate. So like just packed with like sugar and stuff like that. No, you taste the chocolate. I mean, this takes me back, and I remember like when one, Milo back in the day had this beautiful crunch and these clusters that one enjoyed. It's not the same anymore. Anyway, so I've got my hot chocolates made in my saucepan rather than boiling the water as I said. And, I've just put it in my mug here and just doing some shenanigans. It's in Ndudu by Fafa. It's simple. No. So I've got my cocoa powder and I'm just going to drizzle some cocoa powder on top of it as you do. Because I want this to be so chocolatey. And, I had to wait for the bread to cool down, but I couldn't because I was hungry. My hot chocolate was ready. And I was like, no, I'm going to cut into this. It was hot. I could just feel that, like, no, don't cut it, don't cut it. So I was like, nah, I need it. It's hot. So now when I add my butter, it would just melt. And you can just see that steam just coming out. I'm like, you're so impatient. Yes, I know. But I had to go there. But have you seen how nice and soft this is? So you've got that crusty outer layer and it's nice and soft. And look, it's just like, mwah. Now, my fingers were burning at this point. Now, please do take all necessary precautions when you're dealing with anything hot. Don't follow my sort of practice over there. Nah. I do remember, like, if you want to open a catering company, you want to, double into food, this is a channel for you. If you want to know more about African dishes, this is a channel for you. Because I'm not only just telling you about the recipe, there's a little bit of history that goes behind it, the reason why the flavors do match, It's not just any other food, as I always say, it's that in Dubai. Fafa. Now, I have used this bread recipe in creating my croutons, which I used for my beetroot salad. That's also a must-try recipe with my homemade yogurt. I mean, everything is just homemade, you know what I mean? Yeah, and I also use the same base in making some pizzas. There are some creative and wacky pizzas. That was the Kita Schoolboys, and there's like the One Mouth 1,000 pizza. These are all recipes coming up. Naturally, I'd leave the list of ingredients and measurements on my blog in dudubyfafa.blogspot.com. So if you haven't clicked that subscribe button, you be the one missing out. I'm also on Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as Ndudu by Fafa. Do not forget to click that notification button as well, which means that each time I upload a video, you do not miss a thing. Until next time, take care of you. Be nice, be beautiful, be gorgeous, and always be a better version of yourself each day. The only way to be that greater person that you're destined to be. Much love.